Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Savage Grind Podcast. We're going to do a quick shout out today. And really today, we're going to talk about solar. I got my main man here, Jake Hess.
How you doing?
Really want to talk about what Jake Hess is doing right now. He's putting on a huge conference in Salt Lake City, Utah between the April 21st through the 23rd. So there's going to be 3 days of impact and value for you guys. And we're going to be hosting it at the Mecca of door-to-door, which is Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. There's a lot of door-to-door people there.
Where's it going to be at specifically in Salt Lake City?
So it's going to be at the convention center in Salt Lake called the Salt Palace. It's right downtown, so a lot of restaurants nearby, a lot of hotels. Should be a good time for everybody.
Heck yeah. So I want to just talk about, why solar is important. Why, if you're thinking about putting solar on your house, why it could benefit you, and where the space is going right now, and why it's important now. I could give you my insights and my tips why I think it's so, but screw all that. Let's just hear it from the industry expert. This is the man, literally. He's got accreditations and a long list of accolades that we could talk about why it's important to go solar. And I'll just let you take over this podcast, man. This is the Savage Jake Solar Podcast. Educate us, please, because a lot of us. So from what I can understand right now, a lot of homeowners, especially in the Midwest, are not going or not doing it just because they don't know enough about it. So maybe you could help us to go with the viewers that are out in like Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and have not seen the transition to solar like they've seen it in California or in Arizona or out west so much, right?
It has happened out west a lot. It's happened, in Hawaii. That place filled up real quick, but it's not always going to be around. Net metering, which is what we use to store power that the solar panels make and keep track of the production from the panels with the utility, that's not always going to be available. Some states have taken it away. Some have brought it back. Some are saying we don't want it. Some are saying, hey, let's move forward with this. And so everyone that's getting solar now and not waiting is benefiting, because all of these regulations that are coming all the time, they change frequently. So the sooner you get it, the more likely you're grandfathered into the better terms rather than waiting.
So let's break it down real basic, right? So for homeowners that don't know what net metering means, or we have solar reps selling solar right now that don't know what net metering means, but that's neither here nor there, right? That matters if you're trying to purchase it. You want to talk to someone that educated in the space and that can explain this to you. So for those clients or people, or maybe solar sales people that are out there, what does net metering mean?
So net metering, just basically imagine your utility doesn't want to lose you as a customer. They don't want to lose you. So when these competitors come in and put solar panels on the roof, the solar panels, when they generate power during the day, they actually go into your utility company's grid, and your utility company stores it there while you're at work. And the solar panels are at home making all the power. It stores it in the grid, and then at night it pulls it back out. But it does that every single day for a year. And they know that the sunlight changes. They know that, it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter and dark at 9 o'clock in the summer. They know this changes, so they turn you into this annual customer, and they keep track of how much power you're putting into the grid and how much you're taking out. They don't want to lose you as a customer. So if you take out more power than you put in from solar, they just want to be able to bill you for it. That's it. That's net metering. They want to bill you for the power that you use above what you produce.
Right, and for pretty much it's an average, right? It's give and take. They might owe you some years, and sometimes you might owe them, right? Yep. So it's never an exact science. So buyer beware. If you got solar people telling you that this is the amount and this is what it is and this is what it's going to be, you might always zero out. That's not necessarily true all the time, right? It's like, how did you explain it earlier? Hey, if you actually zero out 1 year, go take yourself to the store, go get a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Because that is the odds of that actually being true, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's a give and take deal for the year. So for people that are like, let's say on the fence, right? They're like, I've heard this buzz about, you know, and let's just face it, let's just talk about it. Tesla, right? Tesla and Elon Musk and taking it public and everybody knowing that brand has buzzed the interest. And I think honestly that's helped us, right? The smaller companies that are in the space as dealers offering it. So like people that are on the fence that are like, hey, I'm considering solar, I'm thinking about solar, but I have not just made that move. What can we talk about that can maybe put them over the edge? I have some ideas, and it's based upon inflation, right? Which is something I like talking about because, right, we know, like let's put it this example. We talked about this earlier. Like, let's say if you could have locked in the gasoline rate back in 1990, right? At 1999, let's say gasoline was 99 cents then.
A gallon.
Gallon, right? And I could lock in my price in 1999 at 99 cents a gallon. Would you do it?
Yep. 20 years later, I have the same gas price, 99 cents. I would be loving life right now.
Exactly. Gas in Illinois right now is upwards of $4.50 a gallon, and I don't see it going down, right? Especially if you're driving a big dually like we do.
So in many states in the Midwest, like you were mentioning, it's not necessarily about saving money today, right? You might save a little bit, you might not. It might be the same. It's about what we call future proofing. It's about what are you going to save yourself later. So if the utility company goes up like this.
Future proofing.
Yeah,
I love
future proofing. So if the utility goes up like this and your solar stays the same, you know, you're saving more as time goes on, just like you would in the 90s when gas was $1 and now it's $5 a gallon in California.
Yeah, for all my viewers that are watching us live on TikTok, hey man, if you got some questions, drop the questions. We'll try to answer your questions live on Savage Grind Podcast. Drop your questions now. If you got my man right here himself, he's a solar legend in the space. Jake Hess, he's gonna have a solar convention that he's bringing all the solar community all under one roof, April 21st to the 23rd. Solarcon is popping off, and if you're not there, you're square, man. That's where it's going to be popping off this year in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City,
the mecca of door to door, and that's kind of like. So, what made you pick Salt Lake City?
Wow. Okay, that's a tough one. It was COVID. We thought we'd be less likely to shut down there. Awesome. There's a lot of sales organizations that are based out of the Salt Lake City area, so it'd be easier to get some of the top speakers there. And it was more central in the country than maybe a Florida or Texas was, so it was strategic. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, and Salt Lake City, Utah in general is just a beautiful place. I love visiting Utah. Any questions? Come on, give us some questions.
There's so much value that's going to happen at Solarcon that we didn't really want anyone to miss it this year. Just we have a battery panel so that everyone can go and learn about storage. Like that's a big thing that not everyone knows about. There's a lot of questions that people have. So rather than go to an event and get pitched or go learn from people trying to sell it, just come to this event and learn directly from some of the top people in the country that do batteries. And listen to what they're all saying without the bias of their brand behind it necessarily, right? So we have storage and batteries. We have lead generation panel that's going to some of the top in the country. Installers. We have manufacturers that are going to be there. We have roofers that are going to be there. My man Danny Savage and Nikki's they're going to be up there on stage talking about roofs and solar. So we have a lot of leading experts that anyone that goes in and listens to this can go in any room that they want or any stage they want and just get a whole bunch of value for their solar knowledge.
And that's pretty amazing, right? So what made you come up with this concept of, because I feel like solar really hasn't done it big like roofing, right? I think roofing conferences have been going on for the past 7-8 years now, 6, I don't know. I know we've been going them for the past 5 years, and this is pretty much the first one, right? Of that I can think of.
This is the first Solarcon. Well, there's an organization out there called SPI, and that's basically more technical though. That's more about like what the futuristic stuff coming out for solar is and all the manufacturer stuff.
Cool.
This is the first time we've done it where we have installers, salespeople, manufacturers, loan companies, all of them just under the same roof, because that is the solar industry, right? So we wanted to bring the whole solar industry together, and this is the first year that we're doing that.
So basically setters are welcome, right? Closers, owners, dealers, people from the space, right, that are promoting software companies, CRMs.
All of that, yeah. We've got commercial.
Commercial solar. Wow. Anybody, TikTok, drop some questions. We got a question here. All right, from one of our viewers, King Rollers. Do I need to have a new roof in order to install solar? Great question, dude. Thank you so much for dropping that question on there. So Jake, he's asking, do I need to have a new roof to put solar on?
Not always. No. In fact, I would say most of the time you don't need a new roof. However, the homeowners want a new roof by the time we're done explaining it because of the benefits they can get in doing it with solar. Namely, if you add solar, you don't have to worry about taking the panels down when you want to do the new roof. They just want to get it out of the way all at once and be done with it.
Which makes sense. Let's say I'm a homeowner, right? I want to get solar, and you're coming to my home, and let's say my roof's about 15 years old, and I'm like, dude, I need solar. I want to put solar. I have this roof, from what I know, is 15 years old. Like, what would you suggest, or what would happen at that meeting?
So I would just ask them. I'm like, 15 years, you guys might not need a new roof. Do you have the warranty that came with it? Are you the ones that put it on? If they don't have the warranty, if the new homeowner didn't give them the warranty, they've had it for 15 years, we don't necessarily know how old that roof is, right? If they do know how old it is, what warranties are on it, and maybe they really want solar. Maybe they just want to do both of them and live peacefully the rest of their lives without having to worry about the top portion of their house and their utility bill. So sometimes the reason a lot of people do it is just for simplicity, peace of mind, ease, making their life easier to get them done simultaneously.
Absolutely. Taking that burden and that worry away from the client. So to answer your question, not every time you're going to get a new roof, right? But really just talking to your clients, engaging with your customer, hearing them out about their concerns. Always be a question-based seller, I believe, and that's my model, and feeling out what's best suited for them, right? If they have a roof that's older and they're worried about it, by all means, check out that roof, make sure it's a good sound roof to put a solar system on. And if it's something that's going to benefit them, let's roll it all into the deal, right?
Yeah,
very absolutely possible for us to roll the roofing deal into the solar deal and give that client a win-win scenario. It's going to have peace of mind for them. They're going to have a new roof, and they're going to have clean, new renewable energy on their house, and you're knocking out two birds with one stone. So that was a really good question. Thank you for that question. Keep coming them in. So we're going to just keep jamming on Solarcon, because that's going to be the place to go.
An interesting thing about the roofs, because you guys do this, right? Insurance companies will cover the roofs a lot of the time.
So our take on it is like, hey, let's wrap the deal into the solar financing. And when the roof does get bought through insurance, which is the insurance company obligation, if it's got affected by a storm and it's storm-related damages, they owe you for that roof. So that money, now you can decide, the homeowner can keep that.
Yeah.
And the solar company can do the financing for it. So that makes total sense if you're doing it that route. But again, you must have credible damage on there to file a claim under your insurance carrier. And again, everything has to be pertinent to your policy, right? You must have a good policy to make sure that you can cover storm-related damages. And so that's something you guys got to do your homework on. Make sure. Again, it's very, very strict in certain states. Do not pretend to be a public adjuster if you're not. So Solarcon, oh yeah, let's go. Let's talk. Let's keep it going. Who are the people that need to be at Solarcon? If you had to just send a message to everybody that's out there watching right now, who are the ones that need to be there?
Oh my gosh, this is going to sound so biased, and I'm sorry for this, but everybody should be there. For business owners, we actually have attorneys that are going to come and speak and give advice on things like legal advice that you may want to look for in your organization, depending on, if it's 1099 or W-2 or what to look out for, how to protect yourselves, the type of contracts, creative contracts that they put in place to protect themselves from things that have happened in the solar industry.
Super important. Having the proper contracts, settling. The worst thing is doing a job and going out and doing all the liability on your end just to find out you're not going to get paid.
Exactly.
Right? That's horrible. I don't want anybody to be in that situation. Everybody involved, correct?
Yeah, it's better to have things written down, and if you are the business owner, it's better to have it legally done, just to protect yourself that much further, right? And also anywhere from business owners, not just necessarily for the legal side of it, but we do have accountants that are going to be there speaking. They can tell you about sales reps. They can tell you how the tax credits actually work. I know a lot of people in the country don't necessarily understand that really well. They can tell you, what it's like to roll a roof into a solar loan, if we're allowed to write that off and get the tax credit or not. They're going to give you these true answers and things to think about, all the way down to sales reps learning, the difference between doing PPAs versus loans versus leases. You hear things about manufacturers that may not be true, so you can hear it directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak. It's just going to be an incredible place for everyone to come and gather any type of information they want. I mean, not to mention even the networking that's going to happen there, right?
Super amazing. I always love going to conferences for the networking, not only the knowledge and the opportunity to meet other people in the space, kind of see where it's going and where you can be innovative and learn about new software, and also making those connections with new people. You always want to bring some value back home, right? I try to go to conference and there's just one or two good nuggets. I want to talk back about solar. I want to make this a very good educational podcast for everybody. So let's go. Let's just bring this back. Maybe I'm a client or a homeowner that I'm kind of like anti-solar, right? Let's just say like I don't. I've heard about people that got solar, right? And let's say you're having a conversation with them and you just have this opportunity to pitch it, right? An unbiased pitch, like, hey, their stance is they really don't want solar, they don't like it. And you're like, hey, I mean, I believe in solar, it's the next thing. How do you approach that conversation? Maybe this is something that can come up with some reps that are out there that are got some hard closes that they are considering doing or probably staying away from. Maybe you can give some kind of pitch to them.
So the funny thing is it's a good point to bring up. The funny thing is you do come against these people that are anti-solar, right? It's inevitable. They will do that. And a lot of times it's actually because they've met with people in the past, like 3 or 4 years ago, that they think they've gathered all the information they need. But so many things have changed from, when I started in 2013 to 2016 to 2018 to now. So many things have changed in these contracts that the information they heard back then is nearly irrelevant.
Wow.
So they
you have an example of something that might be a common thing you hear a lot that's just not true anymore?
Yeah, sure. So a long time ago, when someone wanted a lease, they would put a lien on the property, and they would need a down payment. Now, today, there is no lien that's put on the property, and there is no down payment needed 99.9% of the time. It's up to the homeowner if they want to, but or if they're, we don't have to get into that, but you don't need those things anymore, and there's no lien placed on it. But someone that met with 3 different people, 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years, I can't remember when the liens were on there, but someone that met with 3 different people at that time got highly educated on how leases worked, and now they know how leases work, but they don't know that it changed.
Wow, that's a really, really good nugget, right? Because the solar space have evolved so much, and it's something that's trying to go on a mass scale, and they realize how putting a lien. So for those that don't understand what a lien means, like when you buy something or maybe you do some kind of construction on your house, that contractor, that construction person is going to put a lien hold on your house in case they don't get paid, right? So that's something that whoever's installing that solar system or that roof or that construction, to make sure that they're going to get paid for their services, they'll put a lien on the property if you don't pay, right? Or hope until when you do pay, they'll release the lien. So it's just not true anymore, right?
No, that's just one example too. There's hundreds of them, I'm certain.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That's a really good nugget for people to know that, maybe thought they knew about solar 3, 4, 5 years ago, and it's just not true. So that's really, really cool. And what are some benefits for people that are just like, I want to go solar, I'm pro solar, like I really want to do it? What are some really good takeaways that they can feel good and comfortable about making that decision?
Yeah, the nicest thing is, is bringing the ability back to yourself to generate your own power. I personally like that concept because I don't want to rely on other people for a lot of different things. I want to be able to be self-efficient, right? Now, if we're doing that metering and the grid goes down, we do lose power, but that's okay. We're getting the same product that the utility company is providing for a much cheaper expense, right? Or a much cheaper price, I guess to say. So anyone that has going solar is just loving the concept that they're saving money. And you know, unfortunately, there's less people that are doing it to save the planet than to save money. But it is an added benefit. You ask for anyone that's pro solar, it is an added benefit. They do get that added benefit. And even if they're not doing it for that reason, I know that they feel really good that they have done that, right? Things start to shift in their lives. Like they start, all of a sudden, they get a recycling bin now. And all of a sudden, like, I'm just doing it. And then they get into a Tesla or something. And they're constantly just, it becomes a little bit addicting.
It's a trickling effect, right? And it's kind of like you're opening up their concept and their horizon to thinking a little bit different, right?
Yeah, like why not be more? Right.
And that's super a cool way of thinking, a cool way of pitching it to people that are considering solar already, and just to reassure them that they are making the right investment into the future. We're all on this planet. We all got to live on it. We all should do our part to take care of it, of course. And solar is one way to do that. And if you can get rewarded financially for doing it, like why would you not want to do solar, right? You're helping the planet and you're saving money. And like for most women, right? They want options, they want to be able to shop, here or there. And that's kind of like what you see in a lot of states, like here in Illinois, there's really only one big person selling solar. You really don't have an option, right? And solar is giving you that option, right? You could choose just someone else. Option, and it works out for most people, not all. And if you qualify and it makes sense for you, you could, save some money.
Yeah, and you said it beautifully. A lot of people are trying to make the decision, should I go solar or not? You get these anti-solar and pro-solar people. It's just blown way out of proportion. I think that's too critical a way of thinking. All you're doing, to simplify it, there shouldn't be anti and pro. All you're doing is switching utility providers. That's all you're doing. A lot of times it's completely free to switch it, and it's just a cheaper payment. Like imagine switching from AT&T Uverse to Spectrum. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a different service for the same product, different price.
And that's kind of weird, right? And why do you think it's like set up like that, right? It's just because like these big utility companies just been around a long time, and like they have been the only way to do it. Like, because that's kind of like what you see, and it brings up an important topic. Like, why do people like think it's that way, right?
Yeah, it'll get pretty serious if we go down that rabbit hole. But you're right. It's like it is wild to me that is the way that things are right now, and people are so against changing. It's like, just look at the information, not necessarily how much it's going to save the planet, but just look at what's going to happen to you if you stay what you're currently doing, and look what happens when you change. Just look at those two things.
Just imagine if we never got electricity in general, and we just kept using candles and killing whales to light our home, right?
The oil from the whales for the candles. Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't there, but I remember reading about that.
So like this is kind of like where we're coming into that time where it's eventually going to be obsolete, right? It's not going to really like. But hey, this is an opportunity. We want to educate and bring some value to our audience here at Savage Grind Podcast, and give you a chance to get ahead of the curve, right? This is a really cool, and it's environmentally friendly, and it gives you some options. And in our eyes, we believe in it, of course, because we're providing the service. And Jake has a whole conference on it, so of course we're a little biased about it. But in general, like,
I have a secret about that conference. I haven't told anyone yet.
Oh.
You guys ready for this
cutting edge information? You guys are gonna hear it first on Savages.
So this part's not a secret, but it's pretty cool. On the 22nd, the middle day that's happening, 21st to 23rd. On the 22nd, it's Earth Day.
Oh,
that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
But on that day, it's all about giving back to the industry, letting everyone learn from everyone. On that day, we're giving back to the industry. We actually have hired masseuses to be in the event center, and they're going to give free massages to everyone that's at Solarcon.
Nice.
They got the chairs set up. We got lounge areas with charging stations. We're making a very cool area to hang out.
Man, Jake, that's super awesome. I just want to thank you personally. Number one, taking the time and bless us with your presence here at Savage Grind Podcast. Number two, caring so much about everybody in this industry to put on such an amazing event for everybody to come and learn and get some value off of it. If people are interested and want to buy tickets and want to know more about it, where can they go find that, and where should they go look?
So it's attendsolarcon.com. It's pretty easy to find. We have a lot of YouTube channels and things that are happening as well. We have Facebook page. But being the first year, not everyone's going to the page. They're all just going to the website. On that website, you can see the tickets, you can see the speakers, you can see everything that's happening. And that's changing daily. We're adding new content each day to fill in all the spots. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I want to just see if there's any last questions here on TikTok. We don't have any questions here on TikTok. So we're going to wrap this up. I just want to let everybody know this is my man, Jake. Can they find you personally?
San Diego, let's go surfing.
There you go. But where can they find you personally if they want to find you on social media?
So on social media, just Jake Hess is my name on Facebook and on Instagram. It's the same picture. I'm always wearing a hat. So.
I love it. All right, man. There you go. You heard it from his man himself. Go out there, go surfing, be your best. Like I always say, don't be average. Go be savage today.
Yeah.
I love y'all. Boom. Go solar.
See you guys.